What is the difference between a 4 ohm speaker and an 8 ohm speaker? So first off, you guys know that all the pro mids come in a 4 ohm or 8 ohm single voice coil or single configuration. So we're going to use that as rule of thumb. Now, the difference is really just how many speakers you can wire down to the channels of your amplifier. Now you can wire things in parallel or you can wire things in series. And in this video, we're going to talk about the parallel wiring schemes. So if you have 4 ohm speakers in parallel, a pair of 4 ohm speakers wired down to 2 ohms. Now, each 4 channel, most 4 channels, the minimum impedance is 2 ohms. So that means that on a 4 channel, you can safely wire 8 4 ohm speakers, whatever it is, horns, tweets, it really don't matter. As long as the amplifier has the frequency range to play those speakers, then you can put them on there. So that's where it does matter, but it doesn't matter as long as the amplifier can play the frequency range. This one in particular plays up to 30 kilohertz, so that can play horns, tweets, mids, the whole nine. It can play whatever you want. But there are some amplifiers that have a lower frequency range, but they're made for different purposes. Okay, so if you have 4 ohm speakers like this one, that was a pair each channel, so 8 speakers. But if you have 8 ohm speakers, then you can wire 4 8 ohm speakers per channel, giving you 16 speakers total on a 4 channel amplifier. Now that is wiring in parallel. If you're wiring in series, holy moly, you can go crazy. You really can. But just remember that the more speakers you put on a channel, that power is divided into those speakers. So you'll be powering the speakers less the more speakers you put on that channel. Don't just think because it says 200 and you're putting 4 speakers that each speaker is going to get 200 watts. That would be 800 watts. But if you're going to be doing a 200 watt channel to 4 speakers, they're going to each be getting 50 watts, which for a lot of speakers nowadays, it's pretty efficient. Speakers are, a lot of the mid speakers are pretty efficient, so even 50 watts ain't nothing to scoff at. But you know, whenever a mid's powered up with 100 watts, 200 watts, 300 watts, 400, whatever it is, it can get down. Very, very powerful. So the rules of thumb, whenever you're choosing what speakers to buy, 4 ohm or 8 ohm, is how many that you actually need for your system. So in my Suburban, we have spots for 2, 4, 6, 8 mids. So that's perfect for 4 ohm, 4 ohm, 4 ohm, 4 ohm speakers. And then each door goes to one channel of a 4 channel at the 2 ohm load. They're each getting their power divided up by 2 each channel. But like in my truck, I have a lot more speakers up in there, 20 speakers total. So my 4 channel, the JP234, 2 of the channels have 8 ohm speakers. So that's 4 and 4, that's 8 speakers. And then the front doors have higher powered speakers, like they are hexacones. They handle more watts than the other ones. So those are done in pairs for 4 ohm. Each channel of the amplifier is getting the same exact ohm load and putting out the same exact watts. But I have it divided in the front doors to 2, and in the back is divided into 4. So the back ones are getting less power, but that's 8 speakers going forward and versus 2 speakers going, well, you know what I'm saying. So it just depends on what speakers you're putting in. If they're low wattage speakers and you want to divide the channel up by 4, it's all gravy, baby. But yeah, so that's a little guide of 4 ohm versus 8 ohm. What's better, what's worse? It's not necessarily what's better or what's worse. It's what's good for your application. And it doesn't matter as far as the wiring goes. It doesn't matter if it's a horn, if it's a tweet, if it's a mid. It doesn't matter. The only thing that you need to know if you're going to be putting in a horn or a tweet, that your amplifier can safely play those frequency ranges that those horns and tweets need. Tweets go all the way up to, like 25 kilohertz ish. So if your amplifier doesn't play that, then it's not going to be giving those tweets the full frequency range, or horns the full frequency range that you're wanting to give them. Like this amplifier, for example, goes up to 30 kilohertz. So that's plenty for tweeters, plenty for horns, and it goes down to, I think, 5 hertz. So it'll obviously play a mid. A mid shouldn't go below like 70 hertz. A lot of them stay around that 100 hertz range. A lot of the crossover settings that I do, I cut it off at 100 or 80, in around that range, kind of depending on what kind of speaker it is. They all have different properties. All speakers have different properties. Say the USMR, they go from 100 hertz to 10,000 hertz. So that gives you that range. The MRNs, the Neos in the headliners, and the USCMRs in the back doors. But they are 8 ohms, so I can put 8 speakers back there versus just the 2 up front in each front door. I also have a center console that runs off of another channel of another 4 channel, and that's 2 4 ohms, breaking it down to a 2 ohm load on the amplifiers channel. So that might have been over-explained, but I hope that there was a bit of information there that helps you find out what speakers that you need to buy. I highly recommend the Down for Sound mids. They have been fantastic for me. The hexagon mids are my absolute favorite in the Down for Sound speaker series, and I love my JP234, and so those JP4 channels are. But if you're also looking for a smaller, compact, yet powerful amplifier, the Stetson Bravo HQ 4 channels, they make a 400 by 4 and an 800 by 4, awesome amplifiers. The Mini Max series from Down for Sound, fantastic. And you can use coupon code Bangin Bros over at downforsoundshop.com. Also, you can use it over at stetsonstore.com. 2 excellent places to find great amplifiers, from the Brazilians to the Koreans and the Chinese amplifiers that you get over at Down for Sound. So I hope that answered your question and you learned a little bit. And if you did, please like, share, and leave a comment below if you have any other questions that I might be able to answer for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out.